Hello, thank you for taking the time to look at my presentation. My name is Jenzel Espares, I'm an OMS III, and I made my poster on the prevalence of computer vision syndrome symptoms on osteopathic medical students. Before I really get started, I'd like to take the time to thank Dr. Heller for supervising me on this project, Dr. Jung for conducting the majority of the data analysis, as well as the research team for just working on the project with me from start to finish. In this study, we decided to look at the effects of screen time through the use of iPads and computers on the visual acuity of medical students, primarily within the NYIT-COM campus. And we decided to screen for the development of symptoms that lined up with computer vision syndrome, or CVS for short. The main goals of our study were, 1, to investigate whether increased screen time among medical students negatively impacted their visual acuity, and 2, to look at whether screen time among medical students caused the development of symptoms that made up CVS. Our hypothesis was that the high demands for screen time among medical students would lead to an increased likelihood of developing or worsening of CVS symptoms. So what exactly is computer vision syndrome, or CVS? The American Optometric Association describes computer vision syndrome as a group of eye and vision-related problems that result from prolonged computer, tablet, e-reader, and cell phone use. CVS is a medical condition that makes up a variety of visual symptoms, such as redness, tiredness, strain, foreign body sensation, itching, blurred vision, headache, and dry eyes. The image on the right of the slide just provides a visual aid as to what those symptoms are. Increased computer usage can result in a decreased blink rate, and those who develop symptoms consistent with CVS are likely to have reduced efficiency and lowered productivity of work. For this study, the subjects were first and second year medical students who were attending the New York Institute of Technology College of Osteopathic Medicine during the 2019 to 2020 academic year. The study itself was conducted over that academic year with data collected on 3 occasions: August 2019, February 2020, and April 20. For each data collection time, students had to come in and provide the research team with screen time data. Visual acuity was assessed via a Snellen chart, and they had to answer a questionnaire to screen for CVS symptoms. Symptoms that were asked in the questionnaire are the following: burning in eyes, itching in eyes, feeling of a foreign body, tearing, excessive blinking, eye redness, eye pain, heavy eyelids, eye dryness, blurred vision, double vision, difficulty focusing for near vision, increased sensitivity to light, colored halos around objects, feeling that sight is worsening, and headache. The amount of time was recorded using Rescue Time, which was a free downloadable program that had quantitative data on how much screen time was spent on both Apple and Windows devices. The screen time data was obtained during the second and third visit, and the reports were exported from the application. Documentation of screen time was entirely automated, which helped to reduce the risk of human error as opposed to subjects estimating screen time on their own. All the data from the questionnaire was entered into REDCap, which is a secure web application and a HIPAA-compliant database that's designed for clinical and translational research. At the beginning of the study, a total of 33 NYIT-COM students were enrolled. Unfortunately, 6 of them were lost to follow-up, and so analysis will show approximately 27 students providing data. The students were recruited through school email listservs as well as Facebook page announcements in the school group. Visual acuity testing was performed on the NYIT-COM school campus. And on the slide, you can see just an example of a Snellen chart, which was placed on a wall 20 feet away from subjects, and we used this to determine the visual acuity on their left, right, and both eyes. And we also provided an example of a Rescue Time productivity report, which is one of the automated reports that we exported from the application. While we kept track of numerous CVS symptoms throughout the study, I decided to focus on 5 main symptoms here that had notable results for this poster presentation. Please feel free to click on the pictures on this slide to see an enlarged version of the image. From our study, the most common symptoms reported by the participants were headache and dry eyes, which were present in more than 70% of the study pool during the second visit in February 2020. These symptoms, along with burning in eyes, increased sensitivity to light, and heavy eyelids were analyzed in further detail here. As shown in Figure 3, there were more CVS symptoms present during Visit 2 as opposed to Visit 1, and this was deemed to be statistically significant. In terms of limitations, our study is really limited by the small sample size as well as the loss to follow-up that occurred. We had a total of 33 participants that enrolled at the beginning, and due to some loss to follow-up, that number ended up dropping down to 27 by the end of it all. Unfortunately, we couldn't really add any study participants halfway, as we were really trying to maintain a cohort from beginning to end, and we didn't want our data to get messed up from having incomplete data. This probably limited the power of our study, and also I believe that led to multiple data points that couldn't be determined to be statistically significant here. Also, our study protocol had originally planned for 3 questionnaires, which was 1 per visit. Due to COVID-19 restrictions that were enacted in March 2020, all of the research-related activities that occurred on campus were suspended, and so we could not administer the final questionnaire for April 2020, and we had to conduct that appointment or visit in a virtual manner. Because of the high prevalence of CVS symptoms in osteopathic medical students that were demonstrated by the study, I believe it would be appropriate to educate incoming students on preventative measures, as well as to draft an osteopathic treatment protocol that can mitigate the incidence of these symptoms. Especially now as we're dealing with COVID-19 restrictions, and we don't really have an idea as to when those restrictions would be lifted. I believe that further investigation on these symptoms, ideally with a larger sample size and more data points, is warranted, as we're now placing an increased demand for screen time in our medical education curriculum.